These are the Star Wars The Black Series from the series Star Wars Ahsoka on Disney+. We have Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati. Now, both these two figures come packed 2 per case in a wave together with the Mandalorian Naval Commander R5-D4 and Gaming Grade's Star Killer. Good job, Hasbro, for putting, again, the most sought-after figure in the wave as 1 per case. Look at that. Box art combines to form, I guess, a mural together with the rest of the figures. Anyway, I picked up both these figures from a hobby shop called Babe's Children's World at Green Hills. If you watch my collectible sightings videos, you know which hobby shop I'm talking about. Babe's Children's World. Each one cost me about 30 bucks, 29 bucks each. I'm so excited to show off these two. Let's get them out of packaging. And here are both Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati out of the box. And boy, these figures look terrific. Let's not talk about scale for the time being. Just appreciating the sculpt, design, and details of the figure, they look pretty good. They do have flaws. They do have some, I have issues with these figures other than scale. But suffice to say, the amount of detail and closeness to the way these characters look on the show, accuracy, and just overall quality of these figures is pretty remarkable. I'm not saying they're perfect, but they're pretty good. Let's take a closer look at the details of these new Black Series, Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati. Okay, so let's do some comparisons because this is the main contention amongst collectors with these two new figures, and that is the scale. Okay, right off the bat, you can already see that Baylan Skoll, this figure is way too small. You've seen him in the show Ahsoka. He definitely should have towered over the other characters. Now, Natasha Liu Bordito is about 5'5", so it makes sense that she would be the shortest figure in the lot. Rosario Dawson is 5'7", so they're in perfect scale, I think. And with her Leku, she should be about 5'8". Ivana Sakno is about 5'8". So if Rosario Dawson is 5'7", she should just be a little bit taller because right now they're almost the same height. And that's probably because of her Leku. The prosthetic on her head will put her at probably equal height with Ivana. So I think they got the Shin Hati figure scale correctly. And if she's 5'8", and if Natasha is 5'5", I think that's about right. I think they got it right. And she even has bigger boots. So yeah, I don't think they should be the same height. Lance Peter Luke had modified her legs to make her shorter so that they'd be the same height. But I think they got this one right. I don't think you need to modify the Shin Hati because Ivana is 5'8". She's the tallest among all the 3 ladies. Okay, now, Baylan Skoll, Ray Stevenson, is 6'3". Obviously, this is not 6'3". This is obviously 5'8". And for scaling purposes, he should be as tall, at least as tall as my General Hawk variant right here, which is about, I reckon this would be about 6'2" or 6'3". So he should be this tall. And I don't know why they didn't do it. He is currently about 1 millimeter from hair to toe taller than Shin Hati. So something's wrong with that. And I don't think it's the manufacturing department's problem. I think the issue comes with the designers, because manufacturing, regardless of this is a 6-inch scale or 3.75-inch scale, they just follow whatever the designers tell them to manufacture. It's the designer's fault, I think. I don't know if it's a budget. Was it a budget constraint that this guy had too much plastic on him that they couldn't make him as tall as maybe Malgus? So I don't know. Something's definitely wrong with him, but I think they got her right. Now, if you watched Landspeeder Luke's review on both of these figures and his tutorial on how to fix them, he recommended that you use the legs of the Black Series Reva, third sister from Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, the thighs to replace his thighs and make him a little bit taller. Now, I'd already sold off my Reva months ago. This is the time you realize that dapat di ko binenta. Dapat tinago ko na lang. I shouldn't have sold it. I should have kept that figure. But I had to sell all my Inquisitors as a lot. So I had to put her in so that, you know, I could get a potential buyer for it. But man, I should have kept her. I love that character. Anyway, today I went around. It was sold out at Toy Kingdom and Toys R Us. But luckily, I did snag one Reva figure, one last figure from a hobby shop. Actually, it used to be a comic book shop called Philbars. Philbars used to sell comic books. Now they're focusing on collectibles like Funko Pops, a lot of vinyl. Pop Mart and all that, and they do have some Hasbro products as well as McFarlane products. This was the last one in the branch closest to my house. I don't know in the other branches, but I haven't seen her since. But I sort of knew there was one at Festival Mall, and if you live in my area in Muntinlupa City, you know where this mall is, Philbars. Man, she's still at regular price. I don't know what, $29. $30. Anyway, so I'll at the end of this review, towards the end of the review, I will show off if that mod works. Maybe show off how to do it. But very grateful they still had Reva. So with that being said, I don't think we need to modify her, but we do need to modify him. Let's take a closer look at the details of both these two figures. So both figures, sculpt-wise, I think look pretty accurate to how they look like on the show. Maybe some inaccuracy with the color and paint apps, but the way they've sculpted the Knights of the Round Table medieval armor that they're both sporting, I think seems to be pretty spot on, including their lower tunic, the waist cape, their armor. I think it's pretty spot on. Let's begin with Ray Stevenson's character, Baylan Skoll. And my biggest issue was, could they get the likeness correctly other than scale? I mean, I wasn't aware of the scale to begin with when they first revealed this character, but this figure. But moving on past the issue on scale, the next issue should have been the likeness of the head sculpt, I think, for the actual character and how he looked like on the show. And if you remember how he looked like on the show, I think they got it okay. And what I do like about this is they've put minimal lipstick on his lower lip. So if you can find several on the pegs, there are some that have really thick lipstick on the lower lip. Find one that has the least amount of lipstick, and this is the best one I could find. But I think they got the way the eyes have been sculpted, even the hair, the beard. I think they got it right. And if you look at the Ray Stevenson's likeness and how he appeared in the show, yeah, pretty much. I think they did a good job with this head sculpt. What I think they botched with this figure, other than scale, well, maybe the color. I think they should have put a little bit more silver here, as you can see right here. There should have been, I think this, okay, it's close enough, but I think it should have been a lighter gray, maybe a little bit more silver. I don't know. And I think it's okay. Oh, and he's missing his cloak. And I guarantee you guys, these two are going to get repacked with their cloaks on. Just like what they did with Ahsoka, with her poncho. Man, they're going to repack these as a 2-pack or 3-pack, whatever, with their cloaks on. And hopefully they could fix the scale, but I doubt it. I doubt they'll change the mold drastically for this Baylan Skoll figure. Now, going back to my point, I think what they botched is the lightsaber. The lightsaber hilt, let me just see if I can show it off, is just absolutely horrible. The paint apps is so shoddy. It's very amateurish. It's made of the soft, rubbery, gummy PVC. I don't know why they went back to that. Should have been the stiff hard acrylic plastic, much like the lightsaber, but I don't know why they've gone back to this gummy plastic. Look at the details. This is just missing a lot of details compared to the render. The lightsaber is horrible on this figure, and I'm pretty sure a lot of customizers would just 3D print their own lightsabers, but I mean, they could have done so much better with this lightsaber, and I don't understand why they didn't do it. You can remove the blade, you can put it back on easily, and boy, this is a long lightsaber. The lightsabers are getting longer and longer with each new release of Black Series figures. So yeah, those are my main issues other than scale. But other than that, if you were in perfect scale, they would have been pretty good. So articulation, the neck is on a triple ball joint here, ball joint in the midsection, and it's got a ball joint at the base of the neck, ball jointed midsection or waist. It's got some butterfly joints. Okay. The shoulders go in and out, forward, backward, 360. The pauldron is on a ring. It rotates together with the arm, and when you move it out and come back in, it doesn't get splayed out or deformed as easily as some of the previous releases. He's got a very cool looking waist cape. It pegs in onto his crotch piece. The hips, they're on ball joints that can do the splits. Again, they removed the thigh cut. He's got a ball hinge knee joint, can swivel and bend 90 degrees. No cap swivel. Ankles can go up and down and have the rocker tilt. The arms, they're on single hinge elbows, swivels that bend about 100 degrees. Wrists, they're on ball joints. Interesting. Okay, ball joints on the wrists. So pretty cool. Range of motion is okay, not bad, but I would have preferred hinges. Okay, pretty cool. So in terms of paint apps, you get this really, sort of oxidized bit on the armor. I love that. I just wish they could have been a little bit brighter, a little bit more lighter shade of gray, just like on the show, but they were going for the weathered look. I do kind of like it. I'm not a big fan of these weathering, but if it means accuracy, then I'm all for it. The belt is a buckle that in some of the figures I've seen, the green is pretty metallic. This one is a little bit subdued, but it's okay. Just metallic green on metallic silver. Some nice detail on the back. There's no wash on the waist cape except this shiny bit right here on his, sash. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to point out with my copy of Baylan Skoll, the packaging had been double taped. I had removed the tape, but when I tried to remove it, there was another tape that had been cut and taped over. That sent shivers on my back because, being a victim of that General Hawk switcheroo, I was praying to the toy gods that there was no issue with this figure. And you can see right here, there is a cut mark. Somebody had used a box cutter or an X-Acto knife to cut it and retape it. I didn't know why. The figure didn't look tampered with, although this is a little bit of I saw this sticker right here, and this sticker was sort of taped right here when I took out the figure. So I don't know what that means. My guess is that last minute inspection saw something wrong with the figure, and the inspector had cut the figure open, took it out, and replaced it with a new figure. But that figure, they forgot to remove the sticker, and I don't know. I don't know if I want to think that that's lucky for me or bad luck, but there doesn't seem to be any problem with the figure. So that's my theory on that. So with that, okay, we'll try and do the customization later, but let's move on with Shin Hati. Let's begin with her lightsaber. Let's talk about Shin's lightsaber, and I think they did a better job with Shin's lightsaber than Baylan Skoll. If you look at the render of the lightsaber, I think they did a good job. The sculpt on this one, yeah, it could use a little bit more paint. The handle should have been a little done in like ivory. But the silver they used for this one and this metallic gray on the tip, I think is pretty spot on. I think they did a much better job with Shin's lightsaber than Baylan. It's also still made of that gummy PVC material, but what can you do? Lightsaber blades a little shorter than Baylan, as what we've seen on the show, and the color, the orange color that they used, could have been brighter. It's more red than orange, but it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, you can, I guess, hook it onto her waist cape. Baylan's hook is right here. My biggest concern with the Shin Hati figure was really the color scheme and that head sculpt. So let's talk about the color scheme first. And at first I thought they missed it, and I was thinking it should have been darker. But when I looked at images, it looks darker on the show because of the dirt and grime that she'd incurred during battle, but it looks pretty spot on. I do wish that the inner waist cape could have been darker brown, darker beige. This could have been a little bit darker. They could have put a little bit more weathering on it. The plate, the armor plate on her hips could have been painted a little bit more metallic silver instead of weathered gray silver right there. So yeah, I think they got the gauntlets right. This one here right. I think the pauldron should have been lighter. And as you can see right here in this far shot, the gray looks so dark, much darker than this one. And I don't know if it's just because of the lighting or it's because she's gone through several battles already at this point, but I just felt that it was a little bit too light. And I guess when they repack this figure, which I'm 1,000%, 100% sure they're going to repack it with the cloak, they're going to redo the colors of her tunic and make it a little bit more accurate. So that kind of sucks that this is what they went with. It's a minor thing. It's an easy fix. You could do some wash on it. You can customize it and all that. The big thing that really, I think, bothered me with this figure is the head sculpt. The head sculpt, I don't think they nailed it. For me, it doesn't look like Ivana's. It kind of does, but it kind of looks more like a young Tilda Swinton and some hints of Haley Steinfeld. I don't know, but let's look at some pegs just to see if they got it right. So yeah, I think it's pretty close. You know, the eyes, I think the eyes are what mattered. It has to be like, no, I think they missed the mark on the eyes. The eyes should have been really like wide and like menacing eyes. I think they completely missed the mark, as you can see right here on the reference. Sorry. Anyway, kidding aside, yeah, what I'm missing with this head sculpt is that menacing look. She looks more like in a daze than that really freaky eye menacing look that she had on the show. That's what I'm missing with this head sculpt. And you can see the cheekbones, the way they've sculpted her cheekbones. Sorry, the way her cheekbones appear compared to how the cheekbones were sculpted on this figure. It needs to be more pronounced, I think. And also the way the lips are sculpted, it has to be a lot more fuller, I think. And the chin should be a little bit sharper. And I don't know what kind of reference they had when they were sculpting the figure, but you can see right here, you can see those eyes. This one's a far cry from that. I mean, Mikey De La Paz, he's probably going to do this and just change up that thing. I mean, that guy can customize anything. But you see the way the lips are done. It's wider lips, a lot more fuller in the lower lip. This one is just way too narrow. And I guess another striking thing that they missed on this, and I think probably the thing that annoys me most with this head sculpt, her hair sculpt. If you look at the way the hair flows on the render, now she looked like on the show, it should be a lot thinner. But the sculpt, it looks like uncooked spaghetti pasta or al dente, maybe slightly cooked al dente spaghetti pasta. And that really bothers me. I don't know why. Even the way they've sculpted the bangs shouldn't blend in with the side part, the hair on the side. It should be like look at that. Look how distinct the bangs are from the side, from the hair on the side. The bangs are much thinner. This one feels like a wig. It really feels like al dente spaghetti pasta. And you can see right here, again, the eyes should be a little bit bigger, the lips fuller, the cheekbones more pronounced, chin sharper, and that hair should have been sculpted. They should have used, I don't know how they could have done it. They could have probably used less plastic, sculpted it better. Instead, they made it look like pasta. So yeah, that is annoying. That is really annoying. And you can see what I'm saying with the pole drawn. Look at that. Articulation of the figure, the neck is on a triple ball joint, just like Baylan's skull. There's a ball joint on top, midsection, and at the base of the neck. Just like Baylan, she's got a ball jointed waist piece, butterfly joints, shoulders hinge out, in and out, forward, backward, 360. And again, the pole drawn is on a ring that follows the arm as it rotates. Elbows are on a hinge and swivel. The wrists are on hinges. They swivel and move up and down. The hips are on ball joint. They do the splits. Really this new supercut Mafex-ish ball joint. It's cool, but I still want that thigh cut. Anyway, no thigh cut for this one. Knees are on hinges and swivels. No boot cut. Ankles go up and down and have the rocker tilt. All right, now that we have our brand new third sister Reva figure, we could probably try and do that mod that was recommended by Landspeeder Luke. Interesting to note that both figures are identical in height. Probably half a millimeter taller, or about a millimeter taller than this figure. The actress is about, I think Moses Ingram is 5'5". She's about as tall as Natasha Lou Bordito. So she should be the same height as Sabine. So she's really off scale if this is the peg for the actual scale, unless her boots are really thick-soled. So the legs do appear much longer. So do we just swap out the legs? Is it just an easy, a quick leg swap, or do we need to swap the lower legs as well? Because that's going to be interesting. I don't think I can do that. I know I can. We can probably try and just. How do you do this? Oh, this is going to be tough. Should I just do the? Oh, okay. There we go. I was about to say, should I just go ahead and boil some water right now and out pop the legs. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we just replace the legs with Baylan's. Okay, okay. This is a lot easier to remove because I think it's because of the sculpt of they're trying to copy what Mafex is doing with the wide angle ball joint cut. Anyway, whatever. So, do we just peg it in and he'll have Reva's skinny legs, or do we also remove the, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. Can we remove the hinge joint? Oh, this is tough. I don't think I can do this on camera without the, yeah, but let's see first if I can plug this in, because this is a tight looking socket, pretty big ball joint with some pimples on it. So I don't know if I can, I don't know if this is gonna work. Okay, it kind of pegs in. Okay, let me see if I can just wiggle it in a little bit more. Huh, I don't think it will peg in. Let me see if I can do the same on the other side. Okay, come on. Okay, so, okay. At least we got the thigh cut, the thigh swivel, but he's got some really curvy hips now. So, okay, that kind of works. Does that make him proper height now? It does look a little bit better. He's still not, I don't think he's still the proper height. Sort of an improvement. Yeah, but just a little bit taller, about half a centimeter taller. It does scale better with Ahsoka without replacing the lower legs. I mean, then obviously with Sabine, it's just gonna scale better. Okay, so that is interesting. I guess the thigh works, but can we remove this joint right here? That's the thing. And I don't know if we can actually remove this one as well, because this one is on pretty tight. Oh my God. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can actually remove Baylan Skulls, but can you remove Reva's? Okay. Oh, that is tight. This one I might have to boil water for, so. See. Ugh, am I gonna ruin it? Yeah, we might have to boil water. Will it extend it? I don't think so. I think it'll still be the same. Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be much difference. So 8 millimeters taller. You can see right there. Yeah, about 7 or 8 millimeters taller with the Reva legs. So I think it could work. But it could work, you know, with a little bit of imagination. I mean, I don't know. Let me know what you think, you guys. Have you tried doing this? Is it? I don't know. Now I'm a little wary if I should continue doing it. I think you should just keep these original legs and just, you know. And so some final thoughts on these two Black Series figures from the Ahsoka series, Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati. Well, I decided not to go through with the modification. I think I'm just gonna keep the original stock legs of Baylan Skoll, and hopefully, I mean, just hope to the toy gods and pray to the toy gods that Hasbro re-releases Baylan Skoll with some re-sculpted legs to make him a few centimeters taller than this current one we have. But I sincerely doubt that. What I think is going to happen is we're going to see these two figures re-released with their cloaks, and we'll have variations on the paint scheme, probably darker colors. They'll probably have changes in the way the head sculpt's been painted, but I think it's going to be more or less the same sculpt. It's not like Hasbro to just modify a few bits and pieces here and there of a particular sculpt. I think what they could do is just redo the entire character, what they did with the R2-D2 mold, but I don't see that happening with this one, so it's a shame. I don't think it's the manufacturing department's fault. I think it's a design team's fault. Just have to put a little bit of imagination, you know, try to pose the figures low, I mean, and then have him just in a standing pose, and that way they're kind of sort of in scale. But it is what it is. Baylan Skoll is gonna get an 8 out of 10 because of the scale difference and that horrible lightsaber. Shin Hati is gonna get a 9 out of 10, mainly because the head sculpt just really bugged me, but I wasn't as dissatisfied with Shin as much as I was with Baylan Skoll, and you can really see the height difference. And I think it was going to bother me as much when I saw reviews, but yeah, it really does bother me. I thought I could give both figures a 9 out of 10, but I'd have to give a higher grade to Shin because I think I did enjoy this figure more than Baylan Skoll. So with that, I'd like to know what you guys think. Are these two figures something you want to get, or do you want to just wait for the Japanese import versions like from Bandai, the SH Figure Wars? You want to wait for a Mafex, or do you just want to customize these figures for yourself and just use other fodder parts, maybe not necessarily from Reva, some other parts, and do your own thing? Let me know in the comment section. Or do you just want to outright boycott these two figures and just wait for proper releases from Hasbro, which I doubt is going to happen? Let me know in the comments, and as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.